presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball from downtown St. Louis. It's game number 2 and the first of a doubleheader on this Saturday afternoon. The Cubs and the Cardinals. The young sluggers, the difference maker for Chicago in game number 1. Jorge Soler with 2 of their 4 home runs they hit. Late in that game, they blew out the Cardinals. They take game 1. Now we get you set for game 1 of a doubleheader right here on Fox Sports Midwest. That's the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. 29 games remaining in the regular season for the St. Louis Cardinals. It's not just about winning the Central Division, which is the focus of this team, but you also, at this time of the year, start taking a hard look at the wild card, too.
Absolutely, but you know their sole quest is to win the division. But right now, when you think about the wild card, San Francisco has leaped ahead of St. Louis for the number 1 wild card, and then Atlanta and Pittsburgh are chasing the Redbirds.
Justin Masterson will get the call today for St. Louis. Felix Doubront, the lefty, former Red Sox, we saw him in the World Series last year, makes his first start with the Cubs. Game 1 coming up. baseball, the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. In game one, Felix Dubron, the lefty, will go for Chicago, and the Cardinals will counter with Justin Masterson. Big start for Justin. He's 2-2. In game two, the Cardinals turn to the young lefty. Marco Gonzalez gets the call for St. Louis. Let's play two. We've heard that before involving Chicago, haven't we? Baseball is coming up. Is brought to you by Budweiser, designated driver, and enjoy the great times. Come in and visit Mid-American Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. An hour ago, it was pouring rain here in downtown St. Louis. Skies have cleared up for the moment. Game one of this doubleheader on a Saturday afternoon here at Busch Stadium. The Chicago Cubs with 4 home runs last night. And Chris Coghlan will lead things off, followed by Javier Baez and then Starlin Castro. Luis Valbuena, Arismendi Alcantara, Logan Watkins, Chris Valenca, John Baker, their backup catcher, getting the start. And their starting pitcher, Felix Dubron. This is a big start for right-hander Justin Masterson here today.
It's his 6th start with the ball club. You can see his overall record is 6-8, a high ERA. He's 2-2 as a Cardinal with an ERA in the 7s. To try to simplify his motion, you're going to see he's going to work from a stretch. Now, one thing he needs to do is do not collapse on that back leg. Take advantage of his 6'6" frame and throw on a downward plane and hopefully control the strike zone. He has tremendous movement. He's a ground ball pitcher. The ball moves out of the strike zone.
And the first pitch is taken high and away by Chris Coghlan. So Masterson working from the stretch, trying to simplify mechanics. Step and throw. 1 ball and 1 strike. Coghlan is hitting .267. 6 home runs. He's driven in 26, and the outfield is straight away. Carpenter, the third baseman, in on the grass at third, 2-1.
And this the Cubs team has become a home run hitting team. They've homered in 12 of their last 13 games. They had 4 last night. And to put that in perspective, the Cardinal hitters, they have 4 home runs in their last 371 at bats.
Look at Rick Renteria, first season as the Cubs manager. You can see why their fan base is excited with all these young players that have come up and for the most part produced, as Carpenter puts it away in foul territory for the out. A look at the Cardinals defensively. Matt Holliday in left, Jay is in center, Randall Grichuk gets the start in right. Matt Carpenter, a fixture every day at third, along with Peralta at short. Descalso the start at second base. Adams at first. A.J. Pierzynski is behind the plate. So on the bench today for the St. Louis Cardinals, Colton Wong, their everyday second baseman. Oscar Taveras, their everyday right fielder. Yadier Molina, their everyday catcher. Peter Borges as well.
And we would think with a day-night doubleheader, we'll see everybody.
Justin Masterson has never faced the Chicago Cubs. He's also never been caught by Yadier Molina.
Well, it makes sense, too. Yadi coming back the first game in 40 days with surgery on his thumb. To give him, with the night game last night, to give him a full day to kind of rest, so he'll catch Gonzalez in the nightcap.
That's Marco Gonzalez, the young lefty that we saw earlier this year. The key for a sinker baller, Al, plain and simple, what is it?
Well, it's just one of those situations where you just stay on top of the ball, let the ball do the running for you. But Masterson is all over the place. A lot of times you'll see that slider hit the last pitch he threw. It's so far outside.
The base hit by Javier Baez on a 2-2 pitch.
It's so far outside that after the first at bat, they kind of say, okay, I'll lay off that pitch. Then you just worry about the sinker. You're trying to elevate it. But right there, you get to ground ball. He's trying to get ground balls. It just finds a hole.
You mentioned it. The Cubs are hitting home runs at a very good clip. Most in the National League for the past month. Here's Starlin Castro. And it's a team that does not run all that much. Only 54 stolen bases this year. Alcantara is their leading base stealer with 7.
And they've been caught 36 times. Not a good percentage at all. You give up a ground ball base hit. Now, next hitter, you want the ground ball double play. And that is something Masterson has done pretty well. He's tied for third in the major leagues, inducing 21 ground ball double plays.
During the month of August, close to a 400 average for the Cubs shortstop. It's hard to believe. 29 games remaining. That's it. It's the blink of an eye when you talk about Major League Baseball. It's a race now to the finish.
And these Cubs are going to have a lot to say who wins the Central Division.
Runner goes. Pierzynski to second. Very good jump by Baez, and he has a stolen base in scoring position here in the top of the first.
He's 2 for 2 in steal attempts. Pierzynski never been a great thrower. He usually is a pretty good backstop. Last year, Pierzynski led the American League in fielding percentage.
2-0 the count on Castro. Alcantara, Hendricks, Baez, Soler, either 24 or younger. Baez at second base is 21. And they have 2 more top prospects coming up. Most notable is Chris Bryant, who's had a monster season at AAA Iowa.
Third baseman. So you can see whether it's a year, probably 2 years away, Cub fans are going to be very excited about this team. But right now, they want to be the spoilers. And they did a pretty good job of it last night. It's
the first time since 2007 that Neshek had allowed 4 runs. And for the Cubs and the Cardinals in this great rivalry that the 2 franchises have had, first time the Cardinals had allowed 4 home runs to the Cubs dating back to 2004. in a game that St. Louis won at Wrigley Field by a run. Game started by Chris Carpenter. In the air out to left field. Holiday backing up, makes the catch. Baez back to the bag at second base. 2 down.
Cardinals, with the 4 home runs they allowed last night, have allowed 99 on the season. A couple clubs that have been able to not give up 100 or more home runs. The Cubs, surprisingly, because of the bandbox they play in, have allowed only 91.
That to me is shocking.
Yeah, and that's I think only Washington has allowed fewer.
Cardinals third fewest. And a strike to Luis Valbuena. Hit his 14th home run last night. The 0-1. Masterson is trying to make it 5 for 5. 5 straight quality starts by Cardinals. We've seen Lackey, Lynn, Wainwright, and Miller. Quality start, at least 6 innings, and no more than 3 earned runs allowed.
Well, the problem with that, Dan, is the fact that the Cards have been held to 2 runs or fewer by the opposing starter for 6 straight games.
Right.
So if you're giving up 3 and you can't get more than 2, you're going to lose.
Cardinals with 7 hits last night.
The Cards have lost 5 of their last 7 games.
The 2-1 is popped back and foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and a runner at second base. Fans still filing in for game 1 of this doubleheader. Start time for game 2 at 7:15. And again, we'll have both games for you.
A big plus if Masterson could get out of this inning scoreless.
The 2-2. Count runs full on Valbuena. Alcantara, the 22-year-old, on deck. The mantra of the Cubs fans, for some of them, in Theo we trust. Theo Epstein, Jed Hoyer, and that combination trying to rebuild this franchise. And a swing and a miss and a strikeout for Masterson. Cubs strand a runner at second base. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. Carpenter, followed by Randall Grichuk and Matt Holliday. Matt Adams will bat cleanup for the Cardinals. then Johnny Peralta, A.J. Pierzynski, John Jay, Daniel Descalso, and the pitcher Justin Masterson. Now, what do we know about the lefty Felix Dubron?
Well, we know he's been on the disabled list a lot. He was traded at the deadline to the Cubs, and this is actually his first start for the Cubs at the big league level. The one thing he has is a very erratic fastball. So go up there and swing at strikes. He did win. It was a Game 4 of the World Series against the Cardinals last year, pitching for Boston.
Working in relief of that game. And it has been a wild ride for all the pitchers who got wins in the 2013 World Series, whether in St. Louis or Boston. As you look at the defense of the Chicago Cubs, brought to you by Dobbs, Coughlin, Alcantara, and Logan Watkins is in right. Balbuena, Castro, Baez, and Valleca along the infield. John Baker is behind the plate. Felix Dubron on the mound. There are now a lot of ex-Red Sox roaming the major leagues. And I mean guys that are recent Red Sox. And part of that great run that they had a year ago, Dubron being one of them, but some big names. Stephen Drew, Jacoby Ellsbury, Johnny Gomes, John Lackey, John Lester. List goes on and on.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising now that quickly that team was dismantled.
No balls and 2 strikes. An 0-2 pitch to Matt Carpenter. Chop to the right side. Now a race to the bag. Dubron is there and out. And immediately the Cardinals go to the phone to make sure that that's the correct call by the first base umpire, Stu Shearwater.
Shearwater, I think, gets the play right, and I'm sure they will not challenge that. But Shearwater is one of those umpires that with the doubleheader, they allow the team to bring up a 26-man, or they also bring up a fresh umpire. So he'll be behind the plate. And then Alan Porter will have the game off. Usually the way it works, they'll have the game off the second game. As you look at Joe West, the crew chief.
Now it's Randall Grichuk. Look at where Jose Oquendo is situated for Randall Grichuk. This should give you an idea of how hard he hits the ball, how concerned Jose is.
And Grichuk's done a nice job since returning.
That's as far as I've ever seen Jose Oquendo get situated for an at-bat. He has passed Joe West, the third base umpire and crew chief. How about that?
Yeah, Grichuk was leading Memphis with 25 home runs. It was supposed to be a fastball in. It's completely on the other side of the plate, talking about that erratic fastball command, but he would be about that far when McGuire was in his prime.
Here's a 1-2. And Grichuk pulls it out to left for a base hit. He's come up and provided a little spark and earning this playing time. A start here in game number 1.
Well, Grichuk has now appeared in 4 games, and he has 4-game hitting streak. He's 4 for 7. He told me he was going to be much more aggressive this time around, which really makes sense. You know, the first time you get to the big leagues, you're a little tentative. You're not sure what the protocol is up here. But when you go back down, then you kind of kick yourself. You say, wait a minute, you know, those guys put their pants on one leg at a time, just like me. And when you came back, you vowed to be a much more aggressive. And he's been making good contact. He also hit .325 against left-hand pitching down in the minor leagues.
Outfield deep for Holiday. Picked up an RBI in the first inning last night. Strike 1.
He's got a 10-game hitting streak, and he's driven in 10 during that streak.
Oquendo in slightly, but still, I don't blame him. not standing in the coach's box. Rene Latchman, when McGuire was in his heyday, would be in the first row of the seats. Former third base coach DeBront, a check on Grichuk, who does have good speed over at first.
That just powers the ball too, but most of the time he'll drive it up the middle. You can see they're playing to pull in the infield. A big gap on the right side of the field.
Here's the 0-1. Holiday, a line drive out to left, and there's Coughlin. Hit it right at him. With 2 outs, it brings in the cleanup hitter, Matt Adams.
You know, Dan, Matt Adams is just looks like he's hit a wall. He's over 5. He really struggled on the road trip. His average is down to just an even 300. But with the doubleheader today, I mean, and not a lot of options to spell him a little bit. I wouldn't do it today, but I wonder if maybe sometime next week, with the day game on Monday and Wednesday, if maybe Yadier Molina would play first base a game, try to give him a little break.
I was thinking that they may do that today.
But you know, Matt, remember, he's still a young player, and even last year he had a lengthy couple stay on the disabled list.
0-2 is popped up. DeBront, the pitcher, makes the catch. Adams slams his bat, slams his helmet. Cardinals strand a runner. No score after 1 in game 1. Coming up for Chicago, we say hello to Jim Hayes, busy at work with John Mozeliak on the pregame, Jim. And there's some news concerning Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, John Mozeliak yesterday was talking about the possibility of skipping a start for Adam Wainwright in an effort to get him back on track. But, you know, Waino had that rough August, and even after his last start, which was a quality start, by the way, Adam talked about grinding and going through a dead arm phase. Mozeliak told us on the pregame show today that he talked to Adam this morning, and Adam didn't feel the need to skip a start. Mo says Waino feels that he's past whatever the issue was, so no plans to rest Waino right now. Mo told me when Wainwright says that he's fine and that he's got everything under control, you listen. By the way, it's Adam's birthday today, so happy birthday, Waino.
He is 33, I believe. Is that correct, Jim?
I think so. I think that's right.
Here's Alcantara, the switch hitter. And quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. How about Michael Wacha? Big start for him coming up tomorrow.
Well, Mo was in Springfield, and he saw him throw that live bullpen and said that he looked strong and that he felt like his command was great. So they're going to watch him on Sunday when he has that rehab start for Springfield. Mo said the next step is either to find somewhere in the minors to give him another start, or, as he's talked about in the past, bring him up to the big club and let him have a start where he piggybacks, where he goes 3, 4, 5 innings, whatever they feel comfortable with, and then they have some reliever who can go multiple innings ready to back him up, Dan.
That'd be a similar type start to what you might see in spring training, so that is on the table. It's an option for the Cardinals. Here's Logan Watkins. And Jim, finally, how about Marco Gonzalez? The expectations for the young lefty for game number 2. He's making the start.
Yeah, they felt like Marco showed some good things, even though the stats from his stint with the big club weren't good. But they feel like he learned from that, and he went down to the minors and was putting together a very good stretch with Memphis. So they feel like with what he's learned at the big league level, combined with how he's put that into play at AAA, that maybe they can get a nice outing at Marco. They feel like they can, Dan.
All right, Jim, thanks. 2 balls and a strike on Logan Watkins, who's hitting .385, no home runs. He's driven in 3. Last time the Cardinals hosted the Cubs for a doubleheader at Busch, September 15th of 2007. Oh, right back at Masterson. You had a great look at it there with that shot from our director, Tom Mead. That's a bullet right back at him. You talk about the speed of the game. You just saw that there.
He's a big man, and how that missed him is get another look at it. Releases it. Oh, just got it. That was head high and just a little bit over his head. Second hit he's allowed. And that's much better than walks.
Chris Valaika. Once again, Anthony Rizzo not in the lineup. Another young player that the Cubs have locked up long term. And Rizzo's been dealing with leg issues, back issues, shoulder issues, so Cardinals catching a break with him not in the lineup.
There's a 30 home run man for the Cubs, who have 133 home runs on the season, second most in the National League.
And he's hit by the pitch. So Valaika hit by the pitch, and it brings in John Baker, 8th place hitter.
Gonna hit somebody, hit them good. That one just right around the midsection, just a glancing blow. Mike Shannon brought an interesting point, the way the Cubs were just hacking. They just ran up to the batter's box, were just swinging from their heels last night. In the olden days, you would knock a youngster down and see how he responds after that, but the game's not played that way anymore.
Fly ball out to center. Jay broke back, now comes in, makes the catch, and it brings in Felix Dubron. You may be wondering, after a 2 home run night, why isn't Jorge Soler in the lineup for Chicago? He'll be in there for game number 2. He dealt with a knee injury earlier this season. It's lingering, and Rick Renteria has talked about that they want to be very, very careful in this final month and not push it with him. You don't want to have a further complication of the knee injury, so they sit him here for game number 1, but available to pinch hit.
It makes a lot of sense. You know, just takes a toll on you playing 2 games in 1 day. So even though he's young, you don't want to complicate that nagging injury.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. I mentioned the doubleheader in which the Cardinals hosted Chicago in 2007. They split that doubleheader. For whatever reason, this game has been around for well over 100 years. It is very, very tough to sweep a doubleheader.
It really is.
Ball scoots away. Dubron is ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. And the 3 pitches in this at bat all have been balls. Dubron chased a pitch out of the zone.
And they talk about the movement Masterson has on his pitches, but see right there, the off-speed pitch right at the feet of a left-handed batter is the toughest one for catchers to haul in. But you got a pitcher up there, you got 2 outs, you got to throw strikes.
3-1. Crowd a bit restless. Goodness. Some boos for Masterson. That loads the bases. Dubron had not hit this year.
Talked to A.J. Brzezinski when we were in Baltimore. Remember, that was a bad game for Masterson. And the next day, A.J. was talking about when he remembered facing Masterson the last couple of years, he was throwing like 95. And now you're seeing, maybe touch 90, 91. It's a big difference. You don't get away with some of those pitches that are borderline.
Ball 1 to Coughlin. Rosters expanding. And the struggles that Masterson has had. On a personal level, this is a huge start for him. Foul ball.
Boy, that was very close.
Oh. Cubs were 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position in the first inning. Bases are loaded for Coughlin. 1 ball and 1 strike. He popped out to Carpenter to start the game. Outfield shallow straight away. He's got to be able to control the strike zone and throw strikes.
A veteran pitcher, and you would think he would have the mechanics down.
And a ground ball past Descalso. 1 run is in. Throw by Grichuk to the plate is in time. Wow. On a fly from right field. Grichuk getting Valleca. The tag by Pierzynski, and the crowd loves it.
We might have a challenge on this one.
Alan Porter is the home plate umpire. The idea was on a 3rd out, the players defensively stay on the field if you have a challengeable play, and he's safe.
He's safe. They will challenge this one, and I'm sure as we see it, that hand gets there ahead of the tag. Alan Porter in perfect position, but I think he blew this call. Alan Porter, in my mind, what I've seen of him, is a very good ball strike umpire.
Yes. So the challenge here by the Chicago Cubs. And as I was mentioning before, the players are still supposed to be out on the field so that there's not a further delay in the game, but most of the players are in the dugout. His right hand clearly is in there. Great slide by Valleca to make it 2-0 Chicago. If this isn't overturned, they're wrong.
Already marked it in the book. But Grichuk doesn't take away from the throw, but Randall Grichuk last year won a Gold Glove in the minor leagues. I know that doesn't sound like much, but it is a lot better than what we've seen. And noted for a strong throwing arm. Throw was a little bit to the foul side of first base. And Pierzynski, having to give a lane, has to kind of dive back, but looked like the hand reached the plate ahead of the tag.
For Coughlin, it'll be RBIs 27 and 28. The inning continues.
Doesn't take away from the strong throw from Grichuk and any of the other outfielders. It would have been the same result. But here you see he's got the arm strength to get it there in the air. And Brzezinski kind of comes back to try and make the tag, and the hand gets in there ahead of him.
So Masterson gets a couple of warm-up tosses. The hitter will be Javier Baez. Single, stole a base back in the first. Runners at first and third. And a 2-out RBI to score 2 by Coghlan.
Baez got the big hit last night that go ahead double to snap the 2-2 tie in the 8th inning.
The shift is on for Baez. All kinds of room on the right side with Adams holding the runner. Descalso near the bag at second. And a ball low and away. With a doubleheader, the bullpens could use an awful lot of work, and they may get it here today. It's sharply to third. Carpenter across the diamond. Cubs strand 2, but they pick up 2. And an early lead in game 1 against St. Louis and Justin Masterson. This has been called, which is a crew chief review on that play. So no challenge by the Chicago Cubs. They were looking at Rule 7.13. That's the collision rule. And when the umpires come together to look at the collision rule, they also can look at safe or out calls at the plate. The reason I say I don't agree with it, the throw is up the line, and Brzezinski seemed to give plenty room for the runner Valleca to slide. Regardless, that's the way they called it. And A.J. Brzezinski this past week was very vocal in an article done by Bob Nightingale in USA Today about this collision rule. He said right now, final month of the season, this rule needs to be dropped. They need to go back to the old way it was. He said, I can respect the fact that they're trying to protect players and guys like Buster Posey, but this rule does not work. And I think most in baseball feel that way.
Yes, I mean, you're hearing a lot of managers echo that same sentiment, and they want it changed before we get into the playoffs. But how can you call this a collision? He gives them the entire he's actually behind it. There's never really any contact other than the hand. Well, we got a real problem. We think that's a collision now.
They're saying that they want it done, as Al just said, by postseason play. The players have come together. Most of them believe it needs to be changed. As Peralta turns on the pitch, extra bases down into the corner. Dug out by Coghlan. And the tying run will come to the plate. Second Cardinal hit.
And his 34th double. He's really picking up the pace. 6 hits away from 1,500.
Let's take a look at Al's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, we just want to see this right here. Masterson, he can't allow any walks, and he's got to keep the ball in the ballpark. He's already down 2-0. And the offense, we want you to hit and walk a ton and score and score and score. As I said, the Cardinals have really been saddled by starting pitching. Can't get more than 2 runs in a game. They have done that 6 straight times from the starter.
Brzezinski at least wants to move the runner to third, if not drive him in. Found it interesting that the Cardinals went with a lot of lefties in this lineup. Carpenter, Adams, Brzezinski, Jay, Descalso against a left-handed pitcher.
Their lineup is so top-heavy with lefties.
Brzezinski, base hit into right. Runner stops at third, making sure that ball got through was Peralta.
Danny, with the Cardinals, with all the left-handers they have in their lineup, they almost always have to, have 2 or 3 or 4 guys in there. But if AJ can go down and get a base hit like this off a lefty, all the better. John Jay hits left-handed pitching very well, and he's going to get a shot with a man in scoring position. Runners at the corners. John Jay leads the major leagues in batting average in August, a .397 mark.
Unquestionably the hottest hitter in this lineup. One of the hottest in baseball in the month of August. Last 15 games hitting .442, 9 driven in, a pair of doubles. They shade him a bit in the opposite way. Ground ball hit to the right side, double play ball, 4-6-3. Run scores, no RBI. Cardinals get on the board, and it's 2-1.
John Jay has been hitting so well against lefties, .397. Same, he's got the month of August. But this outside pitch, he kind of just rolls over on it instead of taking that to left field.
Base hit for Descalso into right. He's really picked it up here as of late.
Dan, there was so few at bats for Daniel Descalso, particularly in the first half. But played those games in Baltimore, and all of a sudden he got a chance to make a couple starts. He had a 3-hit game, then a 2-hit game. Then all of a sudden he was getting more and more pinch hit appearances. He was delivering there, and he's really turned it on the second half of the season.
Cardinals will at least get Masterson through the lineup, but he's been swinging the bat since he's come over to the National League quite well. .286 average, no home runs, 1 RBI, 1 sacrifice this year.
2 for 7.
On a hop to second base, Baez. Cardinals and Johnny Peralta scoring a run in the bottom of the second. It's now 2-1. fan photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Again, brought to you by AT&T. Johnny Peralta now with 329 career doubles. He's tied with a former Cardinal, Gary Templeton.
You know, Dan, we talked about Peralta before the game, how he'll probably have 2,000 hits before his contract is up with the Cardinals. 6 away from 1,500 now. 3 more years on it.
3 more years. You think 130 to 150 hits at least a year, and
he'll get.
You're right around that mark of getting close to 2,000. Any way you want to look at it, pretty good career.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll try and play beyond it. The contract with the Cardinals. Question might be is what position will he be playing?
Exactly. Starlin Castro. Fly to left his first time up. The slider taken high. Cubs picked up 2 in the top of the second, and a ball that looked to get just past Descalso, maybe even under his glove and into right field. That play is made. Cubs are off the board.
Scored 2 with just 2 hits. Hit batter and a walk involved.
Nice play by Carpenter. Stabbing that to his left. Taking a hit away from Starlin Castro.
When Masterson pitches, you should have pretty good alertness on the infield. Guys should be ready to get a lot of ground balls.
Now you could say that play could have been made by Descalso. It should not have been a walk to Felix Dubron. And so Masterson can kick himself with that to extend the inning to bring up Coghlan, who then picked up the base hit and 2 RBIs. And there's a strike at the knees to Luis Valbuena. Struck out swinging first time up. Seen a couple of times AJ Pierzynski holding a conversation with our home plate umpire Alan Porter. Just wonder what old AJ's up to behind the plate.
I had a nice conversation with him before he even caught a pitch. You work that umpire, that home plate umpire, make him your best friend, and hopefully you can steal a couple pitches here and there as the game goes along.
Little tapper to the right side. Masterson will tag the runner. There's 2 down. Friday, September 12th. Honor the troops like the pros. 25,000 fans ages 16 and older receive a digital desert camouflage Cardinals cap, similar to the one worn by the Redbirds on Memorial Day. So get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
There's camo hat right there.
Statistician today is Luke McLaughlin.
Yeah, guaranteed to get a buck, aren't they?
The camo hat?
The camo hat.
That's the outdoor hat. You got the camo hat, outdoor hat. Got all kinds of hats here at Busch Stadium. Fresh, your neighborhood hometown grocer for 75 years. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. That's the ball that they have over at Cardinals Authentics. Really a neat piece. Authenticated, but it's got Bob Gibson's signature. Then he signed it on the side there, but on both sides, his complete Game 7 wins in both 64 and the 67 World Series. World Series complete Game 7 victory, and then the dates in 64 and 67 on the sweet spot. It's got Bob Gibson's autographed. I know they have just a limited number available for fans. It's over at Cardinals Authentics, or check the website as well. Neat piece.
I may be way off on this, but I thought one of those was on 2 days rest.
That's correct.
Yeah, and 67, he had 3 complete games in that series.
That's correct. And what makes that ball so unique, but he put the dates when he won Game 7, but he's the only guy in the history of baseball ever to win 2 Game 7 clinching World Series and to throw complete games in both those wins. So if you're a collector out there, what a great piece of memorabilia. CardinalsAuthentics.com, or if you're down here at the ballpark, very limited number of baseballs available. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carpenter. And it's 1-2. I'm with the players. I don't know about you, Al, but I hope that the collision rule is changed at home plate.
I totally agree. And if it's not, I worry about next year. Do you make it at second base? Boy, a second baseman could get hurt. A shortstop could get hurt. So we better do, play no contact there too.
Went down to get it, and a base hit. And Carpenter singles into left center field. 1 for 2.
3 hits by left-handed swingers today. Carpenter yesterday broke an 0 for 16. He got a base hit, and now we're starting to see him swing the bat again. He was surprised. He didn't realize he'd been 0 for 16.
Randall Grichuk single to left. Our good friend Tony West, who is on the camera that shot that Bob Gibson ball over at Cardinals Authentics, always doing great work for us and our entire crew. Wherever you may be, I hope you're enjoying Cardinals baseball this afternoon.
Big gap out in right center.
The 1-0 pitch. Ripped to short. Off the glove of Castro. They'll get the man at second. Nothing that Matt Carpenter could do. That was an absolute rocket off the bat of Grichuk.
Tough luck for Randall. And like you said, impossible running situation for Matt Carpenter at first. You don't want to get doubled up on a line drive, and this one's right at him, so he thinks he's got to get back to second. Then the ball fell out of his glove, and Carpenter's just out with no chance.
You don't see that number very often. 103 off the bat of Randall Grichuk.
Remember Grichuk, who came over with Peter Borges in the David Freese trade from Anaheim, but everybody marveled about his power in spring training.
Holiday, line drive out to right, tailing, and the catch is made by Logan Watkins. We've seen some hard hit balls early on, but nothing to show for it for the St. Louis Cardinals. Labor Day sales save 50%. Get MLB.com and bat premium features for only $4.99. Download it at Cardinals.com/mobile today.
Cardinals were already 5 hits, and several more hit hard.
So 2 outs and a runner at first as Adams looks at ball one. Popped out in foul territory first time up near the Cubs dugout. And a catch that you rarely see. It was the pitcher in foul territory making that play. Adams pulls it foul. Cardinals with 5 hits already. And Grichuk is picked off. Finally tagged out. The great Tony West. There he is, loving life. That's how he is all the time, except when there's a camera on his shoulder. Baker as we move to the top of the fourth at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And the Cubs rookies have been difference makers since July 10th. The average 19th, on base percentage under 300, but home runs and RBIs. Production there with some power. Look at Rick Renteria, spent last 6 seasons in San Diego as the bench coach, first base coach as well. Managerial experience was the World Baseball Classic. There's a fly ball out to deep right. Grichuk looks up and it's gone. A home run. Logan Watkins, his first.
They've now homered in 13 of the last 14 games.
Watkins 2 runs scored. He's 2 for 2, and it's back to a 2-run lead. Last night we saw them do this 4 times. Valbuena, Soler, he did it twice. 4 home runs for Chicago. And moments ago, Logan Watkins. Strike to Chris Valleca.
It's the 134th home run for the Cubs this year. That's second best in the National League.
Mentioned it earlier, but the most home runs hit in the National League, and there goes another. That's in the last month. They've been hitting the long ball, and they just add to it. Valleca, back-to-back home runs. Watkins, now Valleca, and Chicago, they want to play spoiler, and they're doing it. That may get some activity now in the Cardinal pen.
When you have a doubleheader and a split doubleheader here, you have to go deep in the game, particularly if you're the first start. Just a hanging breaking ball. Everything's out over the middle of the plate. And these kids are up there smashing the ball.
It's now a 4-1 lead for Chicago.
So this pitch is kind of down, middle half in. That's where lefties like it. Here's the breaking ball. Too much of the plate. Tyler Lyons will begin to throw.
Getting to the point, you're talking about Michael Wacha, if Memphis is still alive, having a chance to make a start with Memphis later this week. He'll start tomorrow if all goes well. Another start. Also the talk of a piggyback start. I'm not sure, though, if you're in a pennant race and just over 20 games to go, that you could afford to keep sending Masterson out there if this is the results that you're going to get every fifth day.
An ERA over 7 with the Cardinals coming into this action. And I agree with you. I mean, maybe it'd be the wake-up call that he'd need. All-star last year, but
third strikeout.
Now this is a very fair ballpark, and if you don't walk people and don't give up home runs, you should be in a position to win on a nightly basis. Dan, it just seems like the opposition has no trouble reaching the fences, but the Cardinal hitters do.
Logan Watkins, that was his first home run. And then the home run by Valleca. The always popular Al Raboski jersey here at the ballpark. Dubron strikes out. Back-to-back Ks and 4 today for Masterson. The one that he's got to be kicking himself over, though, when you think about what he's done today, is the walk to Dubron to extend the inning back in the second inning.
Absolutely. Brought up a good point. You know, that's a pitcher up there. Is 2 outs. You walk him, and then you give up a 2-run single to the next hitter, and you should be in the dugout.
Chris Coughlin, after the inning was extended back in the second, single to right and bounces one foul. I'll say this: Felix Dubron hasn't wowed anybody. There's been a lot of loud outs that Cardinal lineup so far, and you just wonder if the Cardinals will start finding some holes and get back in this game.
Well, you would think so. You know, there's 5 hits apiece. Cardinals have hit a lot of balls hard that have been right at someone, but if they're going to hit the home run ball and you're just getting singles, you're never going to catch up.
Now, you made a very good point in watching Masterson. That velocity is not near what it was a year ago. He's throwing more sliders today than I remember in his previous starts, too.
Sinker isn't doing that much, so you got to go with something.
Here's a 1-2.
See a high of 90 miles an hour, a low of 75. Brzezinski was telling me that, you know, he used to have that 95 mile an hour just heavy sinker. take 5 miles an hour off of any pitcher, and they're going to have problems.
That's taken low. Three and two the count with 2 outs, nobody on. Outfield is straight away, shallow. Hammered foul.
When Masterson and Lackey were acquired, it was because the Cardinals had 3 starters in their rotation that were struggling to get you beyond the 5th inning. Lackey's been very good in that department. See him go 7 innings. Masterson has already had a 2-inning start, a 3-inning start, and here's struggling to get out of the 4th.
(3-2) to Chris Coughlin. Popped up. Carpenter battling the sun and makes the play. Back-to-back homers to start the inning. Logan Watkins his first. Then Chris Valleca. 4-1 Chicago. Download the free McD app and you'll get a promo code for $8 tickets to select Cardinal home games. Offer includes tickets to see Central Division rivals September 1st through the 3rd. That's against the Pirates, and September 16th through the 18th against the Brewers. $8. Download the McD app today. Most efficient inning for Masterson was in the 8th, or rather the 3rd, when he had 8 pitches. Twice he has had 22 pitches, had 21 in the 2nd. Matt Adams was left standing to end the bottom of the 3rd after Grichuk was picked off. 4-1 Chicago. Popped up, left side, playable. Twice Adams has fouled out near the Cubs dugout. 0 for 2. There's some good news for a Cardinal fan. Getting a souvenir. Peralta doubled and scored back in the second.
He's got a 7-game hitting streak now. Average up to 269. That's the highest it's been all season long. He's really turned his numbers around. Leads the ball club to home run. He's second in RBI, but now that batting average starting to creep up to respectability.
The 2-0 pitch. 3-0. What you get concerned about from a Cardinals perspective is that the Cubs bullpen late innings has been really good here the last month. We saw that last night. And a 1-out walk.
Dubron wants to start walking people and let the Cardinals get right back in it. That's fine too. Just watch Matt Adams on these 2 at-bats here today. He fouled out both times. You can just tell he's just frustrated, because I think he's seeing pitches that he'd be able to do damage with, but the dog days of August have kind of gotten a hold of him, and he's just, dipping his shoulder and uppercutting.
Brzezinski takes ball 1. AJ, when we're on the road, is greeted with boos, but they were loud in Chicago at Wrigley Field. It's when the Cardinals acquired him about a month ago. We were in Wrigley, and that's where he made his debut.
But he takes that as a compliment, especially playing for the White Sox. So across town, if you're not booed, if you're a White Sox player and you go into Wrigley Field and you're not booed, you'd be kind of a disgrace. They would think that you're helping the Cubs rather than trying to help the Cardinals. But because of his personality, he's booed.
AJ hits a fly ball out to center. Alcantara back, makes the catch. Peralta back to the bag at first, and there's 2 outs.
A 17-year veteran, and his personality, I think it's great.
I don't know if this is his best behavior, because we never had him around before, but he's been nothing but very, very pleasant to be around.
Absolutely. Very accommodating. Talk to him every day. He's one of the guys who'll come up, even initiate conversations with us.
2 outs and a runner at first. And a pitch in the dirt to John Jay. It's game 1 of a doubleheader. Both games on Fox Sports Midwest. We'll wrap up the series tomorrow. That also will be on Fox Sports Midwest. Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Descalso on deck. Jay grounded into a 4-6-3 double play his first time up. That allowed Peralta to score. The lone run for St. Louis back in the second inning.
I know there's an awful lot of John Jay fans, but if you weren't a fan of John Jay, how he handled everything this winter, he was kind of the lost man. Borges was going to take over in spring training, tried to help Peter out as much as he could, coming to a new ball club. And he's just hit his way into that starting lineup. You just have to be very, very proud of how he's handled everything as a real professional.
Two and two the count. Base hit into right center. Peralta digging for third. Alcantara back in quickly to the infield, and it brings in Daniel Descalso. The other aspect of John's game that's been so good this year, what he's done against left-handed pitching.
He came in 397. A left-handed hitter, the highest average for a left-handed hitter against left-handed pitching. He adds to that with his 1 for 2. John Jay has just had real good at bats. He hasn't wasted many, and now his good buddy Daniel Descalso will try and come in here and do something. Descalso got the base hit his first time up. Talked about how he has hit safely in now 12 of his last 13 starts. It's only his 20th start of the year, but he's hit almost 400 in those last 12 starts.
You get the feeling that the way that things have been going, that this is a big at bat for the Cardinals. I realize it's only the bottom of the 4th, but we talked about the back end of games.
You also you're going to pinch hit for Masterson. You bring in Tyler Lyons.
1-0 pitch to Descalso. 1-1. Daniel with a base hit to right, first time up.
John Day dancing at first base, and already seen Grichuk get picked off. But pay too much attention to those runners on base, you make a careless pitch to the plate.
You know, we've seen Masterson work from the stretch. From a pitcher's perspective, Al, there should be no dip in velocity, but some guys talk about the comfort level not being the same, being from the stretch or a windup.
And it's all in your head. I really firmly believe that, because in the windup, most of it is counterproductive. You know, you're going away from home plate, bringing the hands over your head, rocking backwards. But at some point, you sit down and you come to that stretch position and throw the ball. LeBron also is one of these lefties, and it happens quite a bit with a lot of starting pitchers, but they're more effective against right-handed batters than they are lefties.
Three and one the count. Daniel pops it up on a 3-1 pitch. Valbuena makes the catch. Cardinals strand 2. They've stranded 4 so far. Dubron out of a jam. We head to the 5th. crowd here at Busch Stadium for Game 1 of this doubleheader. Masterson pitching into the 5th. He'll get Javier Baez, the second place hitter, Starlin Castro, and Luis Valbuena. That's how you take in the game. Little ice cream, some sunshine right now. Temperatures are in the low to mid 80s. Hope you have a napkin. First pitch is a strike. Baez is 1 for 2. Single to center back in the first. Stole a base, left stranded, and grounded out to third sharply. That was in the second inning with 2 runners on. Check swing, and he did go. I mentioned last night how aggressive Baez, Al, is with his swings.
And that's why he's hitting sub 200, but he's got the power. 7 home runs, playing in his 26th ball game at the big league level.
Three home runs in his first major league games. And he waves at it, strikes out.
You can see these young, inexperienced hitters, when you can get to 2 strikes, they're just up there hacking and just have no idea. They're thinking fastball, and they chase a breaking ball off the plate.
Baez has done that. You get a look at Castro, the 3 home runs, 3 first games. Soler now has done that after last night. They joined a very exclusive club. 3 have done that in the history of baseball. The other, one of our good friends, Joe Cunningham.
Smokey Joe. He had 3 home runs in his first 3 ball games. And see, these are the only 3 guys to ever do it. Cunningham did it back in 1954, and if I'm not mistaken, 2 of those home runs that Joe Cunningham hit were off of Warren Spahn.
I was looking at the other day success against certain pitchers and great totals in terms of home runs against a pitcher. 15 to 20, whatever that case may be, over the course of a career. And I think it was 2 that were in the top 5 were against Warren Spahn, the totals of those home runs, which surprised me a little bit. Think of the greatness that he possessed on the mound, and this is hit out to deep left, and it's another one. Starlin Castro.
Masterson had only allowed 9 home runs in 121 innings coming into this action. That's 3 in the last inning and a third. That's it. Lyon's been warming up. His 3rd inning he was warming up, so it'd be part of a double switch. Colton Wong's going to come in, and Descalzo made the final out. Will sit. Maybe he'll start again in the second game.
3 home runs allowed by Masterson, Lyons into the game. Double switch. Home runs today by Logan Watkins, Chris Valleca. Moments ago, Starlin Castro. 5-1 in game 1. score between the Cubs and the Cardinals. North Star Ice Cream Treats in the Ford Plaza while supplies last. It's presented by Prairie Farms. Hope to see you here tomorrow. 422 feet, the distance of that home run. And this turns into a very important outing on a personal level for Tyler Lyons, not knowing what may happen with the next start for Masterson. And also to keep the Cardinals within 4.
To be another disappointing outing. 4 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs. He walked a batter, hit a batter, struck out 5, and allowed 3 home runs. Masterson.
Good breaking ball to Luis Valbuena. Colton Wong takes over at second base. He'll be in the 9th position in the Cardinals lineup and lead things off in the bottom half of this inning. In the 8th spot, it's Lyons.
Lyons was 8-2, 4.43 ERA in 14 starts at Memphis. Much sharper breaking ball. Good location with it. Tyler 0 for 3, a 5.46 in 7 appearances, 4 starts prior to today here at the big league level. And one of the things that he got in trouble with was home runs also.
A strikeout for Tyler Lyons. 2 down.
Same thing like we were talking about Grichuk. Tyler's going to feel like he's better ready for this trip to the big leagues. Did a real nice start when he first got called up last season, won his first 2 starts, and then said, oh, what am I doing?
Fastball and a strike. Keith O'Brien and Keith Oberman have come up with those numbers I was discussing earlier. Duke Snider had 19 home runs off of Robin Roberts. It was Willie Mays had 18 off of Warren Spahn. Stan the Man had 17 off of Warren Spahn.
If I'm not mistaken, Dan, when Willie Mays first came to the big leagues, he was something like over 20, and they were thinking about sending him down. And then he hit his very first home run off of Warren Spahn, and they started changing their mind. Well, there was 660 home runs for his career, but you know, guys like Robin Roberts, you know, I mean, Duke Snider is a Hall of Famer in his own right, but a lot of the Hall of Famers gave up a lot of home runs, but they were solo shots, as they were trying to pitch to contact early in the count, and every now and then somebody would launch one.
Hank Aaron had 17 off of Don Drysdale, another Hall of Famer. Left field off the bat of Alcantara. Cubs with 3 home runs, all have been solo shots. Starlin Castro with number 14, RBI number 65. You think he knew it? The ice cream, some of it made its way down her throat and into her tummy. 80% of it looks like it made it on the dress. She's got the pom-poms out. She's got the right uniform on. She's ready to go. Has not given up hope. Wada and Gonzalez coming up tonight, 6:30 with the pregame show. Game 2. Our Budweiser, what's on tap? Here's Colton Wong, part of the double switch. We are only in the bottom of the 5th. Still a long way to go in this game. And a breaking ball is taken inside.
Cardinals playing one position player down. They have the extra reliever with the doubleheader.
Wong, shallow right center, and it drops in. A base hit for Colton.
That's 5 of the 7 hits for the Cardinals today have been off left-handed hitters, off the left-handed pitcher. His muscles gets it inside, but he muscles it right in there and falls between center fielder and second baseman.
Normally, when you think about the Cubs in home runs this season, it's all about Anthony Rizzo. Not so much, though, in this series. 4 last night, 3 today. None hit by Rizzo, who hasn't even played.
He's missed the last 4 games with a lower back stiffness.
Here's Carpenter. Matt today is 1 for 2. Two balls and no strikes.
Cardinals just peck away. You know, the Cubs have a very fine bullpen, so you got to do a little more damage a little quicker. But this game, even though they trail by 4, is very much in reach.
Two and 1 the count. Blue Jays have posted a win already today, 2-0 over the Yankees. White Sox leading Detroit 6-3. That's in the bottom of the 8th. Detroit and New York neck and neck in that wild card. Little check swing. Dubron off the mound, spins, throws, makes the play. Wong to second.
I think Jose Bautista hit a home run for Blue Jays. That was his 4th straight game that he's homered in.
Well, you hit on a key point. I mean, the home runs hit by the Cubs, if there is a silver lining in it, the fact is they have been solo shots to keep you in the game to an extent, only down by 4 runs, only in the 5th.
And the Cardinals need to break that streak of 6 straight games that they've not hit more than 2 runs against the starting pitcher.
Here's Randall Grichuk. Grichuk, a single to left, then hit a screamer at short. That was off of Castro's glove, and with a runner at first base, was able to knock it down and get a force play, and then Randall was picked off back in the 3rd. Unfortunately for Jose Oquendo, we pointed this out earlier, with nobody on, he can be in that front row well down the left field line, but runner at second base, he's in the coach's box. with Randall Grichuk at the plate.
Don't worry, Hosey got a helmet on. Grichuk, when spring training, really impressed Mike Matheny and the coaches with his power. He led the Memphis Ball Club with 25 home runs. And he's swinging the bat much better this trip up to the big leagues.
Swing and a miss and a strikeout. Like John Baker wanted it up, and Dubron hits his spot.
Yeah,
yep.
You can get that up and in, and top of the strike zone, there's a lot of swing and misses there. Or if you hit it good, you pop it up. Holiday's hit 2 line drives and nothing to show for it. 1 to left, 1 to right. He's got a 10-game hitting streak, and during those 10 games, he's driven in 10. Perfect time to get 11 and 11.
So 2 lineouts off the bat of Holiday, 1 to left, the other to right. He's sitting on 13 home runs. That pitch in the dirt. Chicago Cubs come in here playing for pride, playing to be a spoiler, and playing, it seems like, free and easy.
Nothing to lose. Playing it. The defending National League champions, you're not supposed to win. So if you go out there and just play free and easy, it's a lot easier to win those games.
Slowly hit left side, Valbuena. Cardinals have stranded 5. We head to the 6th. Chicago on top. Fan photo. And it's Alan June. Oh, that's sweet how you guys have matching jerseys. You have the married, and then she has the since. Then the numbers come together and make up the year. That's touching, Al.
Be careful. I might reach over your statistician.
Luke McLaughlin, our statistician, working hard today.
Very hard.
And here is Logan Watkins. Takes strike 1. Showing bunt. He homered last time up. Lyons was able to get the final 2 outs in the top of the 5th in relief of Masterson, who went 4 1/3. Good sharp breaking ball, and when Tyler Lyons Al is right, you usually see a good tight breaking ball.
He's a good athlete. You know, he's got some pitches and now a little bit of experience. But one of the things that Wada and Gonzalez and now Tyler Lyons has is they've got probably a lot more knowledge and experience facing these young Cubs than any of the Cardinal other pitchers.
Same thing with Gonzalez tonight.
Sure. I mean, they've got a little idea what they look like from playing in AAA.
Second strikeout for Lyons. Saturday, September 13th, 25,000 fans, 16 and older, take home a replica BP pullover, just like the Cardinals wear during batting practice. Again, that's Saturday, September 13th. Cardinals take on the Rockies, and tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions. Maleka hits it left side. 2 down.
Lions 4 up, 4 down.
In steps John Baker. Good work so far by Tyler Lyons. Popped up left side, and Peralta is there. Let's see if this offense can't get going. We'll have a replay of the Cardinals Hall of Fame ceremony between ball games, and our coverage starts with the pregame show, Toyota Cardinals Live at 6:30. So if you missed the Hall of Fame presentation, it was magnificent. I think you'll really enjoy it. That's between games 1 and 2 of our doubleheader here on Fox Sports Midwest. Felix Dubron will get Adams, Peralta, and Brzezinski.
And hope many more this inning. Matt said frustrating time. He's popped up foul territory twice, and I think what becomes frustrating is it's kind of hit the a wall right now and just needs probably a mental break, but probably seeing pitches that he wished that with fresher body he probably would be able to crush, and dipping and just popping them up.
Two balls and no strikes. Cardinals are 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position today. They have stranded 5. They've out-hit Chicago 7-6. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two and two.
Grant has scattered 7 hits. 3 hits in the second inning, and they scored their lone run.
And that's hit out of play. Adams is hitless.
Second strikeout.
So Dubron is struck out 2. Here's Peralta. Doubled and scored back in the second. Also walked. A changeup out in front for strike 1. Two balls and 1 strike. Caroline and Andrew Humes are here from St. Louis and watching the game on Fox Sports Midwest.
Ron looks like he's making better pitches right now.
Hit to the left side. And Peralta is retired. 2 away. You know that place will be hopping between games. Ballpark Village. Look at Fox Sports Midwest Live. Avery and Barrett, Luke, Olivia. They all want to say hi to family and friends watching today. Big Cardinal fans. They never miss a game. And pitch in the dirt to Przynski, who is singled to right. Also flied out to center. And a strike at the knees.
Grant's retired 5 in a row, and all of a sudden now it looks like he's starting to make better pitches.
Chicago comes in with a record of 60 and 74. A year ago, 66 and 96. Their offense ranked 28th in the major leagues in scoring last year. That's a big difference here with these young players. Their bullpen was second in the National League in blown saves. They did get 33 out of Kevin Gregg as Brzezinski hits it foul. You can see why there is a different look to this team with the additions that they have, providing a spark and energy to Chicago.
They've been batting just .239, but they've scored more runs than the Cardinals. Obviously, a lot more home runs.
Just missing outside. Dubron thought he had strike 3. Three-two pitch. And a fly ball lifted out to left. Chris Coughlin under it with the glasses on. Cardinals go quietly in the bottom of the 6th. One of the doubleheader rolls in. She's back at it again, eating something. Key part in this game, first runner scores, kicks that bat out of the way. Great slide here to slip in the right hand to make it 2-0. Initially called out, then the call was overturned. Tyler Lyons in relief of Justin Masterson, who lasted 4 1/3. And Lyons has a pair of strikeouts.
Dan, just to give you a little bit about Tyler's efficiency, he's gotten 5 outs on 17 pitches. Masterson got 13 outs on 82.
And that's hit out of play by Felix Dubron. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes.
Tyler's been very efficient, and you can see he's got the good breaking ball, but running balls in on the hands. 4 home runs last night, 3 more home runs today for the Cubs. And there's a strikeout.
3rd strikeout for Lyons.
Coming in, throwing strikes. He's ahead of the count, being very efficient. Point I was going to make with the 7 home runs that they've already hit in the first game and a half. Nobody's really, other than Lyons, is starting to get the ball in a little bit, put a little fear or back them up a little bit.
So you're talking about keeping a hitter honest.
Keeping a hitter honest.
Coughlin looks at strike one.
You're trying to make a living too.
Coughlin, the key hit early on in the second inning with 2 outs and a base hit to right that scored 2. That pitch is up and in. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You're not trying to hurt anybody. You're just trying to say, okay, I don't want you diving across the plate, or I don't want to get your hands extended.
Hard hit. Adams to Lyons. Well, Tyler has come in and done a nice job so far. That's 7 in a row.
He's faced and retired all 7 that he's seen, and Brzezinski out with a little message about Baez, but like I said, Tyler probably been pitching to him. Maybe able to tell AJ a little bit about how to get him out. Average still under 200 at 196. You see the 7 home runs and 15 RBIs. He swings hard. Pitcher should be able to take advantage of that. It's a good changeup.
Good pitch in at the knees. 1-2 on Baez.
See a nice quick pace. You know, translating to the hitters that I'm in control. I'm going to get you out. They're working a lot faster than what we remember.
Here's a 1-2.
Total pitches thrown, just 6 balls.
And a strikeout for Lyons. He's come in and struck out 4 in relief of Masterson. Time to stretch here in game 1.
Problem.
Mazda game summary, with the Cubs leading by the score of 5-1. Dubron still in the game, pitching into the bottom of the 7th. Coughlin 1 for 4, pair of RBIs, the first 2 off his bat. Back in the 2nd inning, Justin Masterson 4 1/3, and Lyons has come in and gotten back control for St. Louis, 2 2/3, and has pitched well, 4 strikeouts in that time. Well, we heard about the rain, and maybe it's still on its way, but right now it is gorgeous here in St. Louis. What a day.
Except for the score.
Oh, man.
Lyons has done his nice job, as you mentioned, but Dubront now is settling in. He's retired 6 in a row himself. Do have activity in the Cubs bullpen. Ramirez is up. Mike Dean's going to have a decision to make here with Lyons is the on-deck hitter, and might have to let him hit. There he is. He's done such a nice job. Hopefully, John Jay will get his 2nd hit of the game.
But you're running out of outs. That's the flip side of it.
But I mean, it's almost a situation. You don't have a deep bench. You only have 3 men left on your bench. You're playing 1 short. Offense didn't do anything either. You might as well leave Lyons in there.
And Jay strikes out. John Jay is 1 for 3. So Lyons stays in the game to hit.
Now, if you had a scoring opportunity, obviously it would be an easy decision. But right now, why waste another pitcher if you can get the Lyons to keep on putting zeros up?
Strike 1. 1 on, nobody on. Dubront really is settled in. Last hit he allowed was Colton Wong, who was part of the double switch back in the 5th.
One thing the Cardinal offense hasn't been able to do is when they do get a lead, they don't add on. And when you're playing a club like the Cubs right now, they're feeling pretty pesky about themselves. They love the spoiler role. If you can get ahead of them early and then keep on piling on, they go, okay, well, we'll look for tomorrow, or we'll look for the 2nd game. But it's right now the Cardinals are the ones kind of looking like, well, we'll wait for the 2nd game.
Slapped foul and out of play. He came in after the off day, regrouping after a tough road trip. Cardinals won 2 of the 6 games on the trip. Then you had Molina coming back in the lineup. A little buzz, really a lot of buzz with Molina back for St. Louis, and there's a strike on Lyons. You go back to the 8th inning of last night, it's been all Chicago. Next time you're looking to pick up great seats to the game, head to StubHub, and you can earn 2% back in fan rewards on every purchase, including Cardinals tickets. Plus, with all-in pricing, there's no surprise fees at checkout. StubHub, your ticket to upgrades and more.
I mentioned the last hit was by Colton Wong. So Bront retired 8 in a row, and all 4 of his strikeouts have been in that the last 8 batters.
The 41st sellout this year, 44,755, 44755 as Wong breaks his bat, lines out to first, and we head to the 8th. 5-1 Chicago here in Game 1. Our studio, Bommarito Sports Update with the one and only Pat Paris. Max Scherzer deciding to forego a large sum of money and a long-term contract with Detroit, rolling the dice, and a very solid year for the St. Louis. And again,
yeah, he's having a great year.
And a great start here for Tyler Lyons. He has seen 8. 8 have gone down, 4 via the strikeout. Starlin Castro is homered here today. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored.
Good start from Pittsburgh. They've scored 3 runs already. Still batting with just 1 out in the bottom of the first inning against Cincinnati.
There is still a lot of baseball to be played today in this season. But you are getting to the point in time where there has to be a sense of urgency.
I thought that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But
so far in this series, we're seeing the youth and the excitement of the Chicago Cubs.
And right now, I mean, they're trying to do everything they can to impress the front office, impress their fans, and they're doing a very good job of it. San Francisco, with their victory over Milwaukee last night, leapfrogged over the Cardinals in the wild card standings. So San Francisco, the #1 wild card. St. Louis is #2, with Atlanta 1 game behind and Pittsburgh a game and a half.
And that is tapped foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. Rather, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Beg your pardon.
Pittsburgh wins today and the Cardinals lose both ends of the doubleheader. They're tied.
Marco Gonzalez going in game 2. What concerned you is the Cardinals will face somebody they have not seen before, which in recent history has given them fits.
And then on top of that, a left-hander.
Cardinals at 71 and 62. St. Louis faces a lefty tomorrow as well, and that's Travis Wood. First base hit allowed by Tyler Lyons. Base hit by Castro to right, and he's 2 for 4. That's how we start the 8th. John Lackey will go in the game tomorrow.
Hanging breaking ball at top of the zone. He gets on top of it and hits it to right for the base hit.
And in steps Luis Valbuena. First man that Lions faced in this game back in the 5th.
Struck him out looking. We'll take the double play now.
Labor Day weekend. Day game right now. Day game tomorrow. Again on Monday. And it's another day game on Wednesday. That'll be the final midweek day game of the season for the Cardinals.
Big swings, don't they? Valbuena batting .240, cleanup hitter today. 14 home runs, 44 RBIs. Played very well against St. Louis.
And he waves at it and strikes out. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Yeah, he's happy. Rick Renteria, first-year manager of the Cubs.
Strong pedigree and development, the minor league system. And he's probably the right guy for this team right now.
Runner is picked off, throw to second, and out. Castro picked off by Lyons.
Matt Adams has to hit a moving target, and there you can see how clearly Castro being tagged out. A little late break by Peralta. Adams kind of throwing it to him, and they get the job done.
You'd have to think by what Tyler Lyons has done, Cardinals should feel more than protected going into game 2 of this doubleheader, and same could be said for Chicago.
And that's why I said, you know, you let him hit. You know, he's not going to be able to help you the rest of the weekend, so let him go as long as he can. Right now, I think you really do have to think about Masterson's next start. Is that in jeopardy?
No doubt. 0-2. That's in the dirt to Alcantara. That caught Brzezinski funny, and he's limping out to Lyons.
He's talking a little higher pitched right now.
I think the question becomes, is Lyons in that picture to potentially make a start? Do you think about, as we've talked about, the piggyback system with Michael Walker potentially, if he comes out with everything all right tomorrow and a start down in the minor leagues, or do you give Masterson one more shot? Tyler Lyons making his case. Ball is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens, and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Yadier Molina signed helmet over at Cardinals Authentics. Tony West getting us some of those shots. Game used bats, balls, pictures, autographs, all at Cardinals Authentics, located at Ballpark Village, and game days here at the ballpark. Chevy called to the pen. Saw him last night, the hard-throwing right-hander Neil Ramirez, and he's in relief of Felix Dubron, who gave the Cubs everything they could have wanted in his first start.
He really settled in at the end, and the bullpen for the Cubs is very, very solid right now, so it's not going to get any easier for the Cardinals. But you got to start picking away and start fighting a little harder. It's the 7th straight time, though, that the opposing starter has held the Cardinal offense to 2 runs or less.
After a quarter of play, Mizzou leading 21-7 in their game, in their home opener, season opener. And a strike in the outside corner to Carpenter. Felix Dubron, 7 innings, 1 run, 7 hits, a walk, and 4 strikeouts, 89 pitches. Such a different range when you think about when Ramirez comes in to follow Dubron, not just being lefty righty, but hard thrower, hard stuff. Two and one.
Used to be hitters used to love that. You know, Kay's got a hard fastball, hard breaking ball, very close, similar. So they felt like it was much easier to hit a guy like this than someone that would have a huge differential in their speeds.
The 2-1 pitch. 3-1 on Carpenter. Matt is grounded out to first, singled back in the 3rd, and a check swing bouncer back to Dubron back in the 5th. Here's a 3-1. Once again, right here on Fox Sports Midwest, a replay of the Cardinals Hall of Fame induction ceremony between games 1 and 2. And a full pregame beginning at 6:30 with Pat Paris and Rick Horton leading into game 2 of the doubleheader.
Carpenter is 1 for 3 in the day.
Slicing down the left field line and foul. Leadoff walk.
This big crowd is just waiting for something to cheer about.
First base runner for the Cardinals since back in the 5th.
Ramirez picked up the win last night, tossing a scoreless 7th inning.
There's Randall Grichuk, who is singled to left. Tardy on that swing, that pitch at 96. See him squaring one up with his fastball and launching one.
Biggest power potentials in the minor leagues.
Here's the 0-1. Now 0-2. Again at 96.
Randall has 1 home run this year. Hit it off of Mark Burley in Toronto. But Burley doesn't throw nearly this hard.
One down, it brings in Holiday.
Matt looking to extend his 10-game hitting streak. Take a look at the final pitch. Richard strikes out.
Nothing fancy about that.
No. Just rearing back, playing old-fashioned hardball.
So here's Holiday. Popped up and out of play. Should make it in this game where the shadows will not become a factor.
Unless the Cardinals mount a big come from behind, you're right. And with the 7-15, it won't be a factor in the second game.
The 0-1. Taken inside, just a bit high. 1 ball and 1 strike. You're Jed Hoyer, you're Theo Epstein. You're seeing this infusion of talent. How much do you read into it over the course of what has been now, for some of these players, 2 months? And say, you know what, maybe we go out and spend a little bit more money than we thought in the offseason to add some veterans, to add some pitching potentially. I mean, if I'm a Cubs fan right now, I'm excited. How could you not be?
Absolutely. You got to be. You know, they're going to spend an awful lot on the improvements on the ballpark and surrounding area, upgrades.
And that market, they have a new TV contract coming up. Wrigley Field is usually a place that's going to, even when they're playing poorly, going to draw. They have not drawn well this year, but generally speaking, you know, the money should be there if they want to be aggressive.
How about the radio side? You know, losing WGN, you'd have to think that would have to be a significant increase to walk away from their flagship station for how many years, decades?
3-1 pitch. Fouled back by Holiday. There's Pat Hughes on the left and Ron Coomer, longtime major leaguer, on the right. Three and two the count.
Good battle here with Matt. So Ramirez, pretty good claim off of waivers. And then was part of the player to be named later in the Garza deal. It ended up being a very good trade.
Shallow right. Logan Watkins is there. Be curious to watch Matt Adams and whether or not he starts game 2 of the doubleheader. He's in there every single day, and we'll see what happens in this at bat. With the 3 previous, he has struck out and popped out twice. It just looked a little tired, maybe.
Oh, I've been seeing that for a week.
Things can change with one swing, as we all know.
And you know, but I think he's as tired he is physical. He needs a little mental break. Seeing his average drop and drop and drop. Now it's under 300.
298. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes.
I remember Ted Simmons one year, and he was vying for the batting title and just playing every day, every single day. And think about the heat on the turf, and he got into a situation where he's physically so tired.
Long way to go for Logan Watkins, near the line, and makes the catch. We head to the 9th of game 1.
Order is only allowed 1 hit, and he struck out 6. You see the good breaking ball he's had. He's just come out here and just firing strikes. Good ratio of strikes to pitches thrown, and he just allowed a Starlin Castro base hit to right field, and then he picked him off. So it's 3 2/3 innings of scoreless baseball. Cubs have hit 3 home runs today. They came early against the starter, Justin Masterson. This is Logan Watkins. He is 2 for 3, and he hit the first of those 3 home runs. But Tyler,
Matt Caesar on the first pitch. The pinch hitter pops it up, and Adams is there. 1 away. Valleca is homered here today. Was hit by a pitch. He scored 2 runs, also grounded out. Cardinals, if they cannot come back in this ball game, a few hours to relax, regroup, and get set for game 2. Maybe watch a little college football, get something to eat, and get set for the second game of this doubleheader. A bright spot has been the work, though, of number 70, Tyler Lyons. He has pitched really well.
Can pitch much better than what he's done, and saw him last year when he first came up. Do outstanding work, winning a couple games. He's in this role to be the long man for this ball game, and guess you got Martinez to back up Gonzalez in the second game.
And a strikeout. Lyons has struck out 7 when he entered the game with just 1 out back in the 5th.
throwing strikes, and they're expanding their zone, hitting his pitches, because of throwing 48 pitches, just 11 of them have been outside the strike zone.
There's John Baker. If he can reach, we'll see Jorge Soler, who is one of the heroes from Game 1. One ball and one strike. Baker is fly to center, was called out on strikes and popped out to the shortstop. Good breaking ball again from Tyler Lyons. We have seen that consistently here today.
And a good breaking ball is the changeup. Spotted his fastball well.
And the 1-2. Fastball, pop foul.
See the ratio. 40 strikes out of 51. First pitch strikes, 10 of 14. That will help you out.
Here's a 1-2. And another strikeout. 8 today for Tyler Lyons. Nicely done. Separating Ballpark Village and Busch Stadium, 5-1 in favor of Chicago. Felix Dubron is our Budweiser player of the game. The starter, the lefty, pitched really well today. 7 hits, gave up 1 run. It was earned. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 89 pitches. Our Budweiser player of the game. Apparently they thought it was 2006. Although Renteria was done after 2004 here in St. Louis. Joined the Red Sox in 2005.
Justin Grimm take over, make his 63rd appearance. That's team high. See his numbers, more than a strikeout per inning, but he's been pitching his best baseball. 1.13 ERA in his last 16 games since July 25th. During that time, he's walked just 2 and struck out 20. Last night, he became the 72nd pitcher in Major League history to strike out 4 in an inning. We had a wild pitch on one of the strikeouts, so we got an extra man.
7 hits for both teams. One of those was a double by Peralta. that was back in the second inning. Since the Carpenter base hit in the third, St. Louis with 2 hits since that time. A single by Jay, that was in the fourth. Colton Wong, that was a single, the shallow right center in the fifth. They mixed in a couple of walks, but only 2 hits since that time. 1-2 on the Cardinals shortstop, as the Cubs are looking to make it just 2 out of 2 in this series.
It's just simple fact, they've outplayed the Cardinals in the first 2 games. Strikeouts last night. Starts out with a strikeout. This ball down off the plate and a wild swing.
Here's A.J. Pierzynski with 1 down here in the bottom of the ninth. As Baker tries to get low in that crouch. 2 down.
Pierzynski and Grimm had a comment to each other. How's the Mizzou game going, Dan?
21-10. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Mizzou on top. Not that I'm paying attention. John Jay. Single to right center in the fourth. Now you look at the 7 hits. 1 extra base hit. The Cubs have taken the first 2 in this series. 5-1 the final. Dubront the winner. Masterson takes a loss. The Cubs are rolling. The Cardinals need to get back on track and do it in a hurry.
And they need to come out here and show which team is trying to fight for the Central Division. But right now the Cubs have outplayed the Cardinals in the first 2 games of this series. And much to the chagrin of Mike Matheny and all the Cardinal fans.
3 home runs hit today. One of those by Starlin Castro. Matt and Rick post game coming up.